Hello, my name is Carx82 and welcome to my Gregtech New Horizons tutorial series. I have decided I wanted to kind of do some tutorials alongside my main series. I'm aiming for about 10 minutes an episode, and the goal here is to kind of go over each age and the different things you could be working towards, different concepts for Gregtech, and all sorts of things. I do have quite a lot of ideas here, and we will get these out hopefully as soon as I can record them. Now I don't have a schedule for these episodes or anything. It's just kind of as I make them, I will upload them and have them go live. It could be at the exact same time as my other main series, or it could be just kind of whenever really here. But yeah, that's kind of the goal here. And these first episodes, I want to go over the different ages and the different kind of goal of each age, what to work towards, and yeah, just kind of give a little bit of direction in case you're a bit confused as to what to do in that age, because sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming in this mod pack. There is so much to do. And before we kind of get going here, I just wanted to point out there is the seed number if you're interested in this world. And quick disclaimer, there will be spoilers, so the quests will be spoiled. If you don't want to know those, just keep that in mind when watching this series. Or maybe mechanics that are later in the game, I may be cheating them in to kind of explain different things, so just keep that in mind. And if you'd like to watch a real playthrough, I do have a playthrough of this. I have about 300 and something episodes of this mod pack, so there is quite a lot of content if you would like to watch it from the very beginning. So now that all is out of the way, I have just spawned in a new world. So this is the spawn point. And as we can see at the top left, there's a whole bunch of writing. Now I get asked quite a lot about what mod is doing that, and I will point out if you would like to go to mod options, it is in-game info. If you go to the config, you can actually make that bigger if you'd like. And there is also a hotkey for it, and it is in-game info XML. So you can turn that on and turn that off because it is very helpful information, but you probably don't want it on your screen all the time. So that is something that is pretty cool to start out with. And first thing we're going to need to do in this age, we look at the quest book. There is Tier 0 and Stone Age. This is kind of where we're at this point. And first kind of goals here we need to do is one, find a shelter for the night because there are infernal mobs in this mod pack. So mobs are very dangerous and we need to get some basic food and some basic tools going. Now, trying to find a place to live, if we look at the biome, we're in a meadow. It's 70 degrees with 70% humidity. That is actually a pretty good biome, but you want a wet biome because it helps with gathering water. There is no infinite water in this mod pack, so that is one of the things you're going to have to deal with right away. And if we kind of fly over here, and we'll see it will jump up to 90% humidity, so we're in like kind of a bog biome. And there is a river right here. Now rivers are really good to live next to because there is lots of clay, lots of gravel, which are kind of early game resources here. So kind of a good idea to kind of set up base near a river. If we go over here, this is even 100% humidity. You need to be careful because sometimes there are the real world generation sometimes put its own biome there. So we're in a river hot biome. So as we can see, the humidity dropped to 20%. And now it's back up to 90. So you got to be kind of careful with that. And you can usually tell by the color of the grass. So this kind of paler grass is a river hot. So it's only 20% humidity. We go over here, 90% humidity. So just kind of keep that in mind. So now that we've kind of decided where we want to live, you're going to want to get some very basic tools, which are the flint tools. And while you are running around, you may find Pam's gardens, and you will get different vegetables and fruits and stuff out of them. Now you can left click them and that'll break it. So as we can see, we got some pumpkin and cantaloupe, but if you right click it, it'll pop off and you can just carry the whole garden with you. So it is kind of recommended to just right click them, carry them back to your base, and then you can break them when you get there. Otherwise your whole inventory will be filled up with Pam's stuff. But basically get as many as you possibly can. Just break everything you possibly can and bring it back to your base. So the next thing we need is tools. Now you're going to get all the different gravel. You can turn the gravel into flint, which is what we need. And since this is Gregtech New Horizons, everything has been Gregified. So if we look at the crafting table, it's actually 2 logs and 2 flint. So that will do that. There is your crafting table. And then with the crafting table, you can go ahead and get your oak planks, which have been nerfed, and your sticks, which have been nerfed as well. You will be able to get the regular version, but we'll need machines to process these. But basically, just do the usual tools, and you want, your sword and everything like that. But these are very basic. They won't last very long, but you do need them starting out with. The next thing we're going to probably want to do is dig into the ground. Like I said, we want to be underground or in a cave type thing before night because there are infernal mobs and they are very difficult when you have no armor or anything on. So we go ahead and just kind of dig down in here. I could just use the tool that I just crafted. One thing to keep in mind is there is hardcore darkness in this mod pack. So as we can see, it is pitch black. Now your first night is probably going to be this bad because torches require coal, and getting the coal before we kind of run out of time is probably not going to happen. You may be able to get some sticky resin and string and craft some torches, but most likely the first night you are not going to be able to see anything. But there is a little tip here. If you hit F7, that'll actually show you the light sources, and you can actually kind of see the ground and make it a little bit easier for you. But yeah, that is just something I kind of learned. You hit the F7, it might help you out just a little bit. So you can kind of see, we do like, it's kind of like this. You can kind of see, helps just a little bit. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. So after we get the basic tools and kind of get a little bit of a home, the first thing we're going to want to do is start searching for some coal and some of the very basic ores. Now I want to kind of go over the ores, and if we look at that thing again, I'm actually going to flip into creative here. If we look at the thing, it will tell us when we are actually in a ore chunk. We go along. So if we look at, find us on the map, where are we? There we are. So that means there is some sort of ore in here. Now the way the ore veins spawn in this mod pack is they're going to be huge. They're probably going to be like 3x3 chunks. So basically what this is telling you, if we dig down, we will probably find some sort of ore vein. Now we kind of dig down here. There we go, we found one. So as we can see, we're in a lipidite ore vein. Now obviously these don't mean anything to you if you don't know anything, but this is kind of like a salt vein. And if we kind of break them out a little bit here, this one is spawned kind of right up at the top of, this is really high up, so it's a bit hard to tell on this one, but they're usually about 6 to 9 layers, and a lot of them have a primary vein. So if we look at the rock salt, how about we just pull that up? If you say rock salt ore, I want to know it. This is in this vein right here. So rock salt ore, salt, lipidite, and spudamen. And it tells you where it spawns, so overworld. That's where we are. So the primary will be the top layer. So as we can see, top 3 layers are that pink rock salt. And if we look at the secondary is the salt ore. We can see kind of the bottom layers are the salt ore. Then the between is also salt ore in this one. Sometimes it's different, but that's kind of like the layer in between. So if it's 7 layers, it'll be 3 for the primary, 3 at the bottom will be the secondary, and then the between, the one in between, will be that between. And then sporadic is usually just kind of thrown about throughout the entire vein. So that's kind of what Gregtech veins are like. Now, as we can see, the thing is says this is an ore chunk, so we knew to dig down, and we found it. So basically, in the very beginning, to find ores, you're going to craft up a flint pickaxe. As we can see, the flint pickaxe, and you're going to start digging down. Basically, you can just go along, and it says this is an ore chunk. Okay, let's dig down and see what we find. Now, the small ores are actually usually related to what vein you're in. So if you're digging down and you see copper, you'll know there is probably some sort of a copper vein. Doesn't always work like that, but I think copper may be actually a bad example. But as we can see, we got lipidite, the small ore, so we know there's like a lipidite vein. And let's kind of go over. We go over 3 more chunks, we'll probably get another one. So this is another ore chunk. Let's dig down here and see if we can find anything. All right, so this is a small banded iron ore. This means it's probably an iron vein in this. Doesn't always work out. Sometimes that isn't. Yeah, there's limonite again. That's iron. So hopefully we'll find the malachite. That's also related to the thing. And there we go. There's the brown limonite ore. So this is an iron ore, iron vein. So that is another one. And basically what you can do, which a lot of people do, they will, when they're searching for ore, dig down till you find one and put it in a waypoint. So here we go. I found brown limonite. And we go back over to like this one. Like, okay, so there's lepidite. I don't know what it's used for, but why don't we go ahead and put the thing. All right, so here is, actually we're in the wrong, are we in the right vein? Yeah, we're in the right vein. So lepidite. So basically your whole map's going to be full of waypoints, kind of pointing out the different veins. Now I'm going to actually cheat in a late game item. You won't get this for a long time, but I kind of wanted to just show you how it actually looks. Now, if you don't want to know this, because this is a late game item, I pause the video or skip forward a little bit because this will kind of show you exactly what I'm talking about with the different veins. So if we use this, this will pop up, and this is how all the different veins are going to look. This shows you all the different veins. But like I said, this is a late game item. You're not going to have this at first, but I just kind of wanted to show how the different ores spawn. So as we can see, we're in lipidite, and there's the limonite one that we dug down on. But yeah, you won't have access to that for quite a long time. So basically, you are digging down until you find the veins that you want every few chunks. And that is that. All right, so at this point, we've probably done some exploring, found a couple veins. Hopefully we found a coal vein. You break the small ores, you will get some coal, which you can use to finally make some torches. So that's something good to keep an eye out for. Obviously, if you find a villager, you can get some torches from the villager. That helps as well. I'm not actually seeing any villages on here yet, but that's always a good thing to find. And we got a little home in the wall, we got a little garden, we got some basic tools, and you want to go ahead and craft up a door. And we realize Gregtech New Horizons has Gregified everything because doors actually require some metals now. So you are most likely going to be living in a hole in the wall with some dirt as a door, unless you steal one from a village, because that's another thing you can do. You may have found some cotton. Cotton's a good thing, so you can get some string if you want that growing. And kind of the end of this age, we're gonna go ahead and craft up this soft mallet. This is one of the Gregtech tools that we're going to need. And if the reason we want to do that is because if we look at a bed, requires some wood planks, some carpet, so some wool, and some fence, which is just some planks and some wood. And then it also does require a soft mount. So we want to go ahead and remember how this was done. Go ahead and get that. Our soft mallets. You need some of the wool, so you can go ahead and attack the sheep and do the usual thing in there. We're going to need some carpets. So it looks like we're going to need six wool for the bed instead of the usual 3, and then the soft mallet. And there we go. There is our bed. Now that is basically the end of the very first stage. It kind of gets us into the Stone Age. This is tier 0. We're kind of moving into, I could place down this bed. There we go. We're moving into the next stage here, and we will cover this in the next episode. And we will work towards finally getting our first bronze machines, and we will kind of move into the Steam Age. So that is basically the very beginning of Gregtech New Horizons series. A couple of the mechanics, things to look out for when you're first starting, and hopefully that was a bit informative. Next episode we'll come back and we will talk about the next stage, so the Stone Age. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them, and I will hopefully answer them if I can. So thanks for watching and have a good one.